So I'm not going to pretend that this is a TED talk because it blatantly is not a TED talk. To be absolutely honest, I've completely run out of time to do anything. But what I wanted to do is just share like my inquiry-based inquiry with you. So what I did is I had an idea of within Tech Crew, which is an elective this year. So I have three students, which is a nice amount of students to experiment with. But I had an idea of creating a thing called a real world project. So two of the units that they do these real world projects where they set themselves some kind of task and they have to go through an inquiry process to go learn about it. Well, I wasn't calling it an inquiry process before this institute, but now I am. Because that's obviously what it is. And I based the idea on the MYP design cycle. So this is what I shared with the students to show the kind of stages and the phases and the interactions between them that one of these real world projects go through. So the three students this year, one of them did, they took on the challenge of creating the lights for the elementary play. Another student, her challenge was to do the audio visual and create a video during the volleyball competition that was hosted here. And another student, they wanted to do a sort of documentary style video of International Day. So they went out, they learned the skills needed, they decided what had happened, they did all this groundwork, this investigation, and they carried the project through. What do they look like? Well, the actual end result of it, we can't see yet because they're due on the 9th of November. So I've told them that what they need to do is they need to communicate their learning through four different sort of groups of learning. And they have to communicate that in any way they like. So we'll see what turns up on the 9th of November. But I did give them some criteria, and I took these and I didn't adapt them much at all, but I took them from the MYP's design criteria. I think these were the end of year 2 ones. They have different ones, end of year 1, 2, 1, 3, and 5. So I'm kind of exploring like really where the best sort of criteria fits, because obviously these students, I have one grade 12 student, I have a grade 10 student, I have a grade 9 student. So that's why I sort of picked the lower end of these inquiry, these design criteria. So the criteria are based around inquiring and analyzing, developing ideas, creating the solution, and evaluating. So that's how my students are going to get assessed. And what they're going to get assessed on is whatever they create. So I'm going to show you a couple of videos now of the students just talking about what they did and how they did it. And so you can get an idea of how it all went. And I think they speak a lot better than I do. So I hope you enjoyed my little station. Sorry it wasn't more polished and slick. But, you know, I just want to show you that I really enjoyed engaging in this idea and sort of putting the stuff that I was thinking about into a more sort of structured format with these inquiry ideas and the sort of the assessment stuff that comes with it. So anyway, over to the kids.
So the stages were useful to me because at first, I wasn't really interested in it, but as I got to learn a lot more about it, I just kind of figured that there's a lot more to lighting than just what meets the eye when you're at the audience. Like there's a lot to do with thinking and planning and just knowing what kind of lights would create a certain kind of mood on the stage and knowing what kind of lights would portray a certain image on the character. Yeah.
So for my real world project, I went around the school for International Day, and I videoed everything that was going on, and I interviewed some people, and I thought it was way more effective than a teacher just having me do a project that I know nothing about and couldn't do anything without research and stuff. So I think that doing this helps me more because it's actually interactive and it's more fun and I'm actually more into it. So yeah.
I think students should be given the opportunity to go and find projects for themselves, because in most cases the teacher just usually gives you a project and you have to work on it, but it doesn't give you the opportunity to like think a lot deeper about it. It doesn't give you the opportunity to learn a lot from it because you feel obligated to do it. But once a student chooses a subject that they want, because most of the time it's a subject they've never really done before, and once they do it they get really interested. Like, I see why I chose this now. It's because I'm really interested in this kind of thing, even though I didn't know that when I first started this project. Yeah, so I guess that's really important for students too.
When I'm told to do something, and yes, I'll do it, but then it just goes passing by my head, I will not remember the experience as someone actually instructed me do these things, and it doesn't really stick to mind like the experiences that you get from an open-ended project where you are the one who decides where you want to go with this and how you're going to fulfill the criteria involved. And my real world project was being tech for a volleyball tournament. And for that day, I realized a lot of few things that I did not know and things that I did know. And with that, it made me realize how much I want to learn and how many things I need to know in order to create a successful project. And with the open-ended thing, it was more than someone telling me, okay, plug this in so this could happen. It was more me figuring it out for myself, and that made it stick to my mind.